Welcome back to the Bucket and Hoosier Show, where we talk Rocket League every week. Well, at least we try to every week. I am Mr. Hoosier, and joining me as always is Bucket. Bucket, how you doing, buddy?
Oh man, tired. Today was I don't know if you've ever done this, but I chaperoned a third grade field trip to the Natural History Museum,
Ooh,
and I'm tired.
I bet.
That was the long. First of all, have you been on a school bus in the last 15 years?
Last 15 years? Yes, I have, but my situation for being on a school bus was much different than a bunch of kids being on there.
Why were you riding it?
No, I was just in. I was in. Well, so what? I showed up. I haven't been in the Air Force. I've been in the Air Force for 14 years, so I showed up on a bus to go to basic training. So that was a lot quieter of a ride.
Yeah. I mean, they're just so small. The seats are way smaller, and it's just not fun to ride on with all those kids screaming. The trip was fun, but it was just exhausting. So
I bet.
that's why you saw me doubling down on the fact that I needed to drink some more caffeine. And then I had to coach baseball practice tonight too. So it's been a day, but I'm here for Rocket League. I'm here to talk about what I saw this weekend and whatever else shenanigans you've been up to.
Shenanigans
on the
galore.
Twitter spheres.
Yeah, it's been. I forgot you're also in baseball season. Any dads out there and moms that are into baseball season with their kids? It is definitely a busy time of year. I myself, I have 2 kids in baseball this year, so we're doing the double practice and double games, which is that's a interesting circus in and of itself. So yeah, what a fun time in the world. I don't know if I would say in the world. World's kind of fucked up right now. But in the world of Rocket League, it was a very interesting weekend, and we're going to get into NA Open Qualifier 5 that just wrapped up. EU is in their Open Qualifier 5 going into the group stage Swiss bracket this coming weekend. And then is format and seeding the same thing? We're going to discuss that a little bit. But let's get into it. First up this weekend, it was a not so standard finish in NA that we have seen the past couple of open qualifiers. Starting with the group stage, Space Station goes 3-0, taking down NRG, the Sidemen, and Cloud9. M80 takes down Cloud9 and the 2 Titans of NA, G2. They take them down 3-2, and they beat Gen G in a clean sweep 3-0 in the Swiss. The rest of the top 8 included G2, Gen G, OG, Shopify, Cloud9, and Dignitas. Luminosity just misses out on the top 8 after starting 2-0 in Swiss. They lost their next 3 games to Space Station, OG, and Cloud9. They look to have a strong showing in the Open Qualifier 6 to have a shot at the major and Worlds. In the playoff bracket, we saw Space Station beat Dignitas 4-3, OG take down Gen G 4-2, and Cloud9 keeps M80 from ending their quarterfinal curse, beating them 4-2, and G2 took down Shopify in a 4-0 sweep. On to the semis, where we saw Space Station take down OG, and G2 just inching out C9 in a 4-3 series after being put on match point after Game 4. In the finals, it was a battle back and forth as SSG and G2 traded games until G2 put it away in Game 7, 3-1, taking the series 4-3. On to the EU. EU is where things got a little interesting this weekend. And I'll start by first listing the top teams going into the Swiss stage. They are Vitality, Oxygen, Luna, SUH, Gentlemates, BDS, Resolve, Jobless, F4WD, Belagol, Low Block, La Mesa, Valiant, Top Cougars, Team 3, and Daystar. If you've been keeping up with the Rocket League scene over the past couple open qualifiers, you would think that I missed a team in there, but I didn't. K-Corp was not able to get out of the double elimination bracket. The almighty team of Rise, Atal, and Vatira, they lost to SUH 3-1. And SUH is a team that went 0-3 in group stage for Open Qualifier 1 and lost 4-3 in the single elimination bracket in Open Qualifier 2. So they have not been back to the Swiss stage since then. Following after that, they went to the lower bracket, K-Corp did, where we would think that they would be able to punch their way in. But unfortunately, they lose to Top Cougars 3-2. And Top Cougars is a team that never made it out of group stage the 2 times that they have made it there this season. So overall, it was a tough showing for K-Corp, who find themselves tied for 9th. Looking forward to the weekend, it was a 3-horse race, but now there appears to only be 2 teams left competing for the top spot in Vitality and Gentlemates. Oxygen is currently tied with Resolved in the number 3 spot, and unsigned team Jobless has an opportunity to make some noise, only 4 points behind for a shot at the major. And that is your wrap up for this past weekend in RLCS. And what a bunch of wild games it was, Bucket. I don't know, did you happen to catch any of them?
Yeah, what a crazy weekend, like you were saying. I was following along with everything you were saying, so I'll start with NA. And interesting the way kind of things went down there, like you were saying. I thought obviously G2 came through in the end, but they had some crazy fights in there. Space Station is really showing signs of not only life, but of really pushing themselves to that next level and trying to come out as one of the top dogs, right? Like, I know they've always been like knocking at the door and always been there, but obviously G2 and Gen G have been putting in that work, but these guys are right there. They're gonna keep making waves, I think. Luminosity, like you said, they weren't able to make it to the top 8, but even if they would have had a tough road against M80, who M80 had beat G2 earlier and Gen G earlier in the Swiss, and then lost to Cloud9 in the quarterfinals. It's like crazy the way the games went.
M80 can't get out of the quarterfinals.
I know, but it's crazy that they can go in there and do some damage in the Swiss and then just can't get out of that best of 7.
Yeah, it seems like the best of 5 is their realm to play in, but if you put them in a best of 7, they're not getting out of there.
So I wonder, right? How does Luminosity get there and then they make it to the semis? Because are they a best of 7 team? And we just haven't had the chance to see it. So you got to play obviously the games that are put in front of you and get through to get to the formats. But there's a lot of interchangeable parts in there, and I think that's what I'm most excited about with NA is the ability to say that on any given day, any given team can win, but also is that how we compete with the EU? I don't know.
Come on, EU's in shambles right now. The almighty EU. I mean, you got your top player in Vatira.
Did you know today is his birthday?
Well, happy birthday, Vatira.
How old do you think he is?
I think he's 18.
18, turning 18 today. My goodness. What have I done with my life? This kid is 18 years old. That's crazy today. It blows my mind because he's been around for so long and he's been at the top of the game for so long. You think 20s at this point, right? Like, just off my head, I'm like, that kid's got to be in his 20s. He's 18 years old.
Mm-hmm. How much money does it say that he's made so far?
Approximate total winnings $375,000. I don't know if that's right.
He has made more money than I have.
I don't know if that's right either.
He could buy my house.
How much has he gotten? We'll go all the way to that conversation.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it was always said his time with Moist that Moist didn't take any of the player winnings from them, so I would think that he actually did recoup a lot of that money, but he did switch some teams, but who knows?
So do you foresee EU's weekend going just hog wild? We have no idea. Flip a coin at this point.
Honestly, for this weekend coming up with EU, I think. Oh, as I click through some things, I don't know if we're gonna. I don't think it's gonna be wild. I think, like I said, it's down to a 2-horse race coming into the weekend. It's Vitality and Gentlemates. Wild card
BDS.
in there.
You're not gonna put BDS.
So I was gonna say, like, wild card that I think could make some noise is honestly Oxygen, and then I don't know. I don't have faith in BDS. I really feel like Monkey Moon's time is past, and the run that he had, it was great. Good job, fantastic. But there's just the chemistry doesn't feel like it's there right now.
Okay.
So
wasn't it? I'm looking here at something. Didn't they win? Oh, they got close in Open Qualifier 2.
Correct.
They got to the finals. I thought maybe they had won one of them.
Mm-mm.
So they got to They got to semifinals a couple times, and they got to the finals once, but never won one. All right, fair enough. I guess I'll sit down.
Yes, you will, as you were already sitting. But yeah, I think if anybody's gonna make some noise this weekend, I think it's Oxygen that could come in and do that. The team of Archie, Oski, and Joyo. I think they're the team to do it if anybody is. I really don't see any of these any other teams doing anything out of the ordinary. It's gonna shake up the point system really bad because right now K Corp is sitting all the way down in 9th, and that's before we even get through the weekend. So I would say they're leaning on, in my opinion, not making the major and not being there. As far as Worlds, do
you have can you put it up on the screen? Let's look at the standing.
It is
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm curious.
So yeah, in overall, this is overall world standings right now. And Gentlemate's sitting in the top at 76 points. Carmine Corp, they dropped down to 75 points in spot 2. Vitality sitting there with 69 points, and BDS holding on with 54 points for Worlds right now. So Worlds, they look pretty good. The bad part's going to be if they don't get to the major is worth double points. So does that really start to affect them if a couple EU teams have a really good showing at the major?
So rankings overall, I'm trying to look at this is Worlds rankings right here?
Yes.
This isn't just for the next major?
No, major is... Hang on.
Oh, you gotta click into each individual.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Because RLCS doesn't produce a product of their own that you can use. They have to. They wait for everybody else to source it.
4 teams have already qualified for the major 2 in Europe.
No, the green just shows that's the 4 slots that will go to the major. It has to be green across the top. Like if you if we go back to the Worlds one, like G2 has qualified for Worlds.
I see. Yes. Okay.
Well, wait, hang on. That's
fair.
Not even right. That was full ranking. My bad. This right here, as I get clicked on the right thing, this is the current major 2 rankings, and Carmine Corp.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Tied for 9th, all the way down at the bottom. They dropped 4 spots because they didn't get out of double limb, only racking in one point so far. So,
and that's all they're gonna get.
Yeah, that's all they get for Open Qualifier 5.
That's all they're gonna get, and only 8 for 4. I mean, that is disastrous.
Oh, 100%.
They gotta win 6 to even have a chance.
Correct.
I mean,
yeah, I think they're gonna have to.
That's what I was looking for. How far off? I mean, we can look at these numbers and really get a good picture. Really see the picture more clearly.
What is that? They could end up with, if they win it, they can end up with 33 points overall, and they would need a couple, like a Resolve, a Jobless, a Luna, and even BDS to not have a very good showing. So BDS even has a
33 points did it in the first one, right? Like BDS got in as 4th with
42.
21. No, well that's with the major. So you have to subtract the 2. So that's only 30.
Oh, that does have the major points in it.
So 30. So if they won, they have, I mean, it's not mathematically impossible for them to get in.
But aren't points are increased now? Remember, so in the first,
so 16 was for the winner, and now it's 20.
It's 24 for the winner now. Oh, 20. You're right. I was looking at Vitality still.
I'm right. Oh no, I'm right.
Yep,
I'm right.
Yeah, it's 20 for the winner now. So it's 4 additional points.
I'm right. So anyway, EU, I don't know if I would call it shambles as much as I would call it shuffling of the deck.
Oh no, they can only get 29 points.
I think they still have some of the best players and teams in the world. I don't know if we can use this, we as in NA, as ammo to talk about, or if we gotta watch some of the NA teams really show up and shut it up, right? Like that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a couple of NA's best to really make some more noise like G2 did last major.
So if we're looking at this, I think with Carmine not being able, like if they don't make the major and go down looking at major 1 and the the single elimination bracket. So the single elimination bracket had 1, 2, 3, 4 EU teams, 2 NA, 1 SAM, 1 MENA. So it would be curious if, with Carmine not being there, are we able, like, would there be well, if we go off of this, it would have been close between Complexity. So Complexity played Carmine in the Swiss. Luminosity did not. So that almost would, like, you would theoretically say that Sam would have gotten an additional team into the single elimination bracket. So is it Sam or is it NA, depending on how the teams shake out for the Swiss at the major? But
yeah, interesting.
Yes, Carmine not having a good weekend, and that puts them on the back foot going into Open Qualifier 6. Could make this very interesting in that Carmine doesn't make it. So then what happens at the major? How does it shake up? I had a bug flying across my screen. But
get a cat.
No, I don't want a cat. Don't want a cat.
But just get a cat.
No.
Just get a cat.
No.
You're missing out.
My wife and kids want a cat so bad.
Get 2.
No.
That's what I did. Just got 2 instead of 1.
No. Anyways, moving on.
It's much better.
Discussion this
get
weekend.
Cats. Just get 2 cats.
Speaking of Carmine Corp not making it, that caused a little, like, a ruffle of feathers across Twitter, talking about the format, how this is all set up. And right now, you don't gain any advantage by being a top team that performs. So I know Lawler had put this tweet out of he said the format is fine, the seeding needs to change. To which I responded with, well, you get your seeding from the format, so the format is not fine. And his response was, format does not equal seeding, but I just said that you get your seeding from the format. So how can you say the format is fine? I think what he's getting at is the way it is structured right now, and the double elimination into a Swiss, into a single elim, that part is fine. But maybe it should be changed that you do gain an advantage if you are able to get into the top 8. But if that's the case, then the format is not fine. The format needs to be adjusted. It is the format that is the problem.
Yo, I'm trying to read this thread of your guys, and I am lost. The format is fine. Top 8 just needs auto invites into main event / Swiss stage like it was before, is what Lawler said. And then Hoosier said, so then the format is not fine. And then Lawler said, seeding is not equal to format, which I've never seen someone write is not equal to that way. In coding syntax, most of the time, like JavaScript or something, would be an exclamation point within.
It was a creative way of doing it. I don't know if the not
I
equal
looked it
sign
up.
is actually in
text.
text.
That's a real thing. That's a real, I've never seen that before. Yeah.
No.
So anyway, then you say the format structure doesn't have a seeding advantage. So yes, I agree. Seeding and format are separate, but seeding standards come from the format. And then some other guy chimes in. I don't know if he was talking to you. Translation, since you don't understand. Format fine. Number of teams who have to play in the format, not fine. I am really confused. What the shit are you guys talking about?
So like I said, I think Lawler's trying to get across that, in his opinion, the format of a double elimination into a Swiss, into a single elimination bracket, that is okay. What needs to change is, if you make top 8, then you should have an automatic bid into top 8. And that would be the seeding. My point is that you derive those rules for seeding off of the format. It's legal, like it's legalese. It's getting into the nuts and bolts of how you word it. And
Gotcha.
And you derive.
So you're saying if you have that where the seeding matters, then it's a whole new format.
It is a format change.
Yeah.
It's not just a seeding change. You get the rules for seeding from the format structure. And so they're not, while they can be looked at as independent things, they are tied together because the seeding gets how you seed from how the format is set up. And right now their format is, you play this weekend, I will seed you back out, but you got to play through everything again. Instead of going, hey, you made top 8. You don't have to play from the very beginning. We'll go ahead and just move you into Swiss, and you will play against 8 other teams that had to go through the gauntlet. So it comes down to a format change. Because
I don't know. It just, then you get special treatment for being better early?
So as Rizzo pointed out, there has to, in order for this to succeed, we have to have something that makes this valuable to orgs. Because without the orgs, then there is no, there is no pro scene. Because what's a pro at that point? I mean, yeah, if you get paid out from Psionics, which
That's the definition.
In our past investigations, they're behind on doing that. So, like, do we want orgs in Rocket League or not? That's what it comes down to. Do orgs matter? And I feel like it's leaning towards no, orgs don't matter. We don't need orgs. Just come up with a random team name and compete. That's it. Leave it at that. There's really, there's no benefit to the orgs. We've talked about this at length too, and it's just it makes it so frustrating because it's the same topic coming around and around and around, because no one wants to do anything about it. But yeah, that's what it comes down to is you have to make it interesting enough to the orgs, or else what is there? It's not going to be there. It's going to turn into the dad gaming tournament, just a weekly tournament of, hey, this is fun, playing it, and that's it. Which I think that's Psionics' ultimate goal with it, is what it feels like. So, and I ran a poll, and I think it was like 12 votes, and I think it was the majority of the votes went to actually saying, yes, there needs to be a change, because what's the benefit of performing well if I don't get, why do I have to go back through the gauntlet? Like, if this is supposed to be a legit thing, then you should reward if I made top 16, if I made it through, what would this be? If I made it through Swiss, or yes, if I make it through Swiss, then let me start back there. Don't make me go back through the entire gauntlet.
Okay.
Do you agree? Or do you think everybody should have to start over?
I think that was the whole purpose of this season, was to just make everyone prove it every single week.
Then now you end up with a K-Corp situation.
I'm not mad about it. Like, why are they not winning those games?
And that is one way to look at it. If you're good, you're good.
Who's to say that they're going to win next one or make it there again? Maybe they've fallen off.
Well, that's just, what,
so you're just going to give them a free pass when they're not a good enough team to be there for this split? Like, if it was the same, that's why they're all different. I don't know how to explain my sentiment here, besides straight up saying play the games in front of you and win them.
I mean, I've had that mindset before of if win the game and then it doesn't matter. But I can also look at it from the side from if you're trying to run it's like, I guess the way I look at it is NFL is like, it's technically entertainment. Right? That's exactly what it is. It's entertainment. They're not on the tax books. They're not classified like as a sports competition. It's entertainment. So if you are trying to build up something, then you want those players and those orgs there in your product. And right now you don't have them in your product because maybe they just had an off weekend. So
that could be
from the competition side. Yes, I agree. Like, hey,
but how are you going to get other teams points if you're just bidding people in to higher points, right? Like, isn't that the point?
Can you say point again?
No, I tried to.
But I mean, you could still lose if you lost in Swiss and didn't finish in top 8, then you got to go back again. Like, just because they had this one off week, like in the Open Qualifier, they had a off weekend. Who's to say that it didn't? If they would have been auto qualified into Swiss and they got to the games this coming weekend, that if they had a off weekend, then okay. Like, to me, that makes more sense of, yeah, hey, you had an off weekend in Swiss, you didn't make top 8, go back a step and play back through open quals again, then have to do open quals every single time and run that gauntlet. It comes down to what do they want to structure? What product do they want to put out to the gaming community, the people who enjoy watching this? And it comes down to that. So, I mean, tell us in the comments, tweet at us at Bucket and Hoosier of what you think. Do you think it should be change in format? Should you get an auto qual into Swiss if you finish in the top 8? Or do you think, no, let them play it out all we got this week? We're excited for the games coming this weekend. Bucket, before we go, do you got anything for the people?
No, this was exciting week again in NA. I love to see the pieces move, and I can't wait to see what EU's got, and then going into Major 2. So This is what we're all here for, right? Like the exciting moments leading up to the big major and then the world's stage. It's going to be a lot of fun moving forward here. So let's. I'm ready for this weekend, man. Let's see what happens.
It should be very fun. Yep. EU second part of their Open Qualifier 5 Swiss stage starts this Friday, and then NA Open Qualifier 6 kicks off, as well as Sam, Mina, everybody else across the world. So it'll be exciting to keep up with. From us here at Bucket and Hoosier, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you all next time. Have a good one.